All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the another episode of Omchain Talks. Let me just accept the request of today's guest. Um, right, we have Charles, Charles Bishop, maybe I should say, from the EOS Support. Charles, should I say Charles? Do you have any preferred name? Am I pronouncing it right?
Yes, absolutely. Charles is fine. Thanks.
Yeah, all right. Welcome to the Omchain Talks. Um, for those who don't know about today's topic, for those who have just joined the space because they have seen there's an active space going on. Today we'll be talking about the EOS network as well as EOS support, along with communications in the Web3 ecosystem and maybe some differences between Web2 and Web3. Welcome, Charles, again. Welcome to the Omchain Talks. We're really glad that you could make it today. You're our guest. Before we start, I would like to ask you to tell us more about yourself and what you're building at EOS Support.
Absolutely. So, well, hello everyone, and thanks so much for joining this open mic AMA with Omchain, and thanks for them for having. My name is Charles Bishop. I am the head of communications for EOS Support, and we are a community-led non-profit organization. We are dedicated to providing support in all its forms to the EOS community, and also to companies seeking to develop on EOS and its upcoming Trust AVM. So we have a website, which is eosupport.io, which has 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, free live support for all EOS users and for anyone that wants to learn more about EOS. We provide this as a public good for the EOS network and all its community. We are funded by the community to provide this public good. And so all the guides, all the tutorials that we have on our website, and also live support any day of the week, and at any time you can reach out to us on our website if you have any question on how to create an account, how to use DeFi on EOS, anything you like to discover about EOS. We're there always to guide you. So this is the first and foremost mission of EOS Support. This was why it was created by the community on the network, to provide a tool for easing the onboarding into this Web3 of tomorrow, because that's the biggest challenge, right? We have this Web3 that is being created to truly benefit the world through autonomization, decentralization, provide the users with true custody of their assets. But the true goal here is also to ease the onboarding, to make it easier for the users worldwide to discover these tools and to onboard them. So this was the first mission of EOS Support.
I actually have a question here about the EOS Support. You mentioned that it's an organization that is funded by the community and that serves the community without charging any fees. So basically, we could say that it's accelerating the adoption of the EOS network. It's actually a very interesting concept to me because even though people often see cryptocurrencies as investment assets, and even though people also invest in stocks and other different financial instruments, in the Web2 world, you never see people gathering up some money and building a support website for a brand that they own the stock of. Or you don't see one, promoting, like, just because they have some Apple shares, you don't see people saying, hey, go and buy an iPhone, go and buy an iPhone, go and buy an iPhone. But the cryptocurrencies, one major thing that I also observe is that people are trying to be part of the project itself. People are trying to be part of the crypto asset itself. They want to help as much as they can help. And while saying that, I would like to thank you to Omchain community as well, because right now they also have a Omchain pool for marketing purposes, and they are using that to reach out more people to spread the word around. So how did it start? Like, who first came up with that? Hey guys, listen, we need to do this. Like, did it start with some incentives, or like was had it start with some organic growth from the community? Could you tell us more about the story of the EO support, and what do you think about that difference between Web 2 and Web 3 in terms of gathering up together in that sense?
Well, you summarized it quite well. So indeed, that's how you see if a community is truly decentralized or not. For most crypto in general, you have a foundation that emerges from the start. They receive funding from the inflation. And there you go. That's the only foundation you're ever going to get with that crypto. They're in charge of marketing. They're in charge of funding. They're in charge of building the code, etc. But on EOS, that was mostly never the case. So on EOS, we see it's a truly decentralized community because indeed, the only way that people on the network create new infrastructure, builds the code, everything is done together through all the DAOs and all the projects that emerge from the community. And the community itself, we have several initiatives like Pomelo, it's called, on EOS, that handles the crowdfunding for our public goods. So every month, the community gathers together and decides who and what projects, which are open sourced, which are public goods for the community, deserves funding. Another one of those projects that distributes funding is called Eden, which is the governance layer on EOS. So same thing, everyone gathers every 4 months, and every 4 months, everyone has a voice in the community. Everyone that wants to participate in this decision can take its place in the discussion, and it's a real discussion. So at the elections every 4 months in Eden, one gathers, and it's not token weighted voting. So everyone in the community is split up into groups of 5. So everyone participating in the elections. And other groups of 5 discuss among themselves for an hour to decide which among them has the best projects, who deserves the funding. They select that person, and then all these persons are then grouped again. They again decide who deserves the most funding, and group after group, they receive even more funding one after the other. The great thing about that is, again, it's no token weighted. It's actual discussion between all committee members on what projects deserves to be funded. At the first Eden election in October 2 years ago, EOS Support founder Randall Rowland participated. He pitched that EOS and the network needed support to onboard new users and make sure that people join this new decentralized community that is being built. And so there, people decided that indeed it was a good thing to have in the network. It was truly unique. Never any chain ever created a community-led support for it. So this was the first time it ever happened, and this was how it received the first funding to fund EOS Support in its first instance. After that, we got funded more and more by the Pomelo crowdfunding seasons that we participated in. And we also received funding from the EOS Network Foundation, which is the foundation that the community has now chosen for itself to represent itself, fund the code development, and do the marketing, etc. And for your question on how it's different from Web 2 to Web 3, as you said, it's truly decentralized because, again, it's not a single organization that decides to create a support or anything. It's truly the community that gets together and decides what are the most important public goods to fund.
Yeah, one interesting thing that you mentioned also, the voting process is not based on the tokens that individuals own, but more of a group of people gathering together and trying to decide which projects are deserve to be funding. So how does that work? I mean, like usually, as you know, we can also like have an open conversation here, not just like question and ask as well. Most of the projects have those token gated voting processes. We also have it like that as well. But what's the difference like? Do you see that it's more beneficial to have everyone come out and provide their opinion, and then some committee or some people make a decision based on the community's vote? Or do you think that more token gated way is the token gated way is a more better alternative? How do you feel like that about this process?
Well, for now, both exist at the same time on EOS. EOS is a delegated proof of stake blockchain. It was created 4 years ago and launched with delegated proof of stake. So, like many proof of stake networks, the people get together and decide through token weighted voting what block producers will be in the top 21 block producers on the network. And then to apply changes to the network, 15 of those 21 block producers have to get a consensus on whether to pass an upgrade or change to the code, etc. So this is the base consensus model of EOS. And then the great thing about EOS for its community is that anyone can decide to create DApps on EOS. EOS is open source. Anyone has the tools and everything they need to create DApps on EOS. And one of those DApps is Eden, which is its own democratic community inside EOS to choose and distribute funding to projects. Same for Pomelo, same for EOS Support. And that's the thing that I love about the Web3 and centralized communities. Anyone on EOS has the freedom to build their own project, to choose their own governance initiatives, and distribute the funding how they want. And this is the key feature here. So both exist at the same time on EOS right now, and both have their goal.
Yeah. That's actually a really nice approach, a hybrid system, because in it, like eventually, if you think about it, there are some people who invested in the token, believing that its value is going to go up, or there are going to be more applications that will demand the token, so the token's price rise. So like they also have to have a way to express their own opinions. But on the other hand, if you also think about it, not everyone has the financial capability of buying so many tokens, for example. Then you're actually also giving them a way to express their opinions. And while you are doing all of those things, it's all community based, community oriented. Individuals getting together to build something that is better, that is larger, and that's going to be serving the EOS network. So I'm really glad that you're mentioning those things. I am learning a lot from you about the EOS network and the current situation, because we also have a blockchain infrastructure. It's a little bit different than EOS. We are more towards we are working more with enterprise grade applications. Also, we also have a community. We have people who have purchased the tokens, who are trying to build some dApps and protocols on our network. So I also find that really important to have the opinion of the community members. But if we, how do I say, if you look at the differences between the Web 2 and Web 3 world, in the Web 2 world, I mean, like, I am not a communications expert. I have no expertise in communications. If you go to my Twitter account, you'll see that it's just a software developer trying to tweet some things. Sometimes I tweet some jokes as well. Not always. I'm not so much of a funny guy. But in the Web 2 world, the communication is very different than Web 3. We don't see any, how do I say, community oriented communications. We don't see any, how do I say, as I previously mentioned, individuals gathering together and trying to build something for that company or business or whatever that is the entity. Um, I am seeing more of a, how do I say, double sided or two sided communication in the actual Web 2 world. Because let me just see. Okay, wait. I think Charles. I cannot see Charles. Can you guys see Charles? Probably he had some problem. Let me just say. So what I was saying. I mean, I will be letting Charles in once he's back in here. So I was saying, in the Web 2 world, we usually see a double-sided communication, like two-sided communication. It's the company against, or like company next to the client. So the company has a product. Yep, Charles is here. Welcome back. Welcome back. So what I was saying, in the Web 2 world, what we see is that company has certain products, certain goods, has certain shares being traded on public exchanges, for example, and then we have that company communicating to its customers directly by different means. It could be like online communication. It could be article being published in some newspaper. It could be some TV ads, different things. But at the end, it's a company that is communicating to its potential clients, potential customers. Whereas if you look at the Web3 ecosystem, which ironically the name is like Web2, it has two-sided communication, and Web3, I put it in a perspective that it's a three-sided communication. The company or the team that's actually building the product makes a communication to the community. They express themselves, they publish the roadmap, they publish the product, as well as they also do marketing and reach out to new clients. But that community, that additional part of that triangle, the community is also communicating to the potential investors as well as the potential clients. It's also, I think, the case with our project as well. I mean, we built the technology, and then the community picks up and then runs the marketing campaigns, reaches out new potential clients, and then redirects them to us. So those are the major differences that I am seeing. So what are the other major differences, or if you want to comment on the difference that I was just talking about, what are the main differences that you see in terms of communications between Web 2 and Web 3 worlds?
Yes, so decentralization, as always, and getting the sense that, of course, we are stronger together. EOS doesn't believe in one crypto will rule them all. That's not the case. That would not be the case. But instead, we work on IBC, we work on inter-blockchain communication, we work on ways to link our chains together. That way we can achieve true or infinite horizontal scaling and truly be a match for the Web 2 of yesterday. The Web 2 and Web 3 are very different in the sense that today we cannot do everything that we did on the Web 2. On the Web 2, we relied on centralized systems. And of course, on blockchain today, we cannot achieve such high performance because we need higher transactions per second, etc. So the biggest goal was always to make blockchain the Web 2 of yesterday, but even better, through better performance, faster transactions, and everything on that end. And once the Web3 and blockchains achieve that, then we can truly use blockchains and the Web3 as we did for the Web2. But for now, it's still limited because blockchains today are still largely battling problems with scalability, which EOS is tackling right now and has achieved a solution for it through inter-blockchain communication. It launched around 3 weeks ago on the EOS network. And through that, we'll be able to link all our EOS IO and now Antelope chains together. The way it works, EOS decided that yes, indeed, Web3 is better in the sense that decentralization allows to harness better the wisdom of the crowds. If you get tools, the right tools to make sure that everyone has a voice. And then you make sure that everyone has the tools they need to rise to the top if they have talent, if they have something to contribute. You want to have a way to search for these people and let them have the funding and let them have the power to make their ideas come true. So for the Web3, that's the real issue. That's what's missing. The way for finding those people that have the value, those people that bring the most value in the community, and give them the power to do even more. So this is how in EOS the Eden community emerged. It uses what I described as fractal democracy, which is pretty new in this world, and was invented to do just that, be a better voting system through discussion, to make sure that we distribute the funding to the real people that have the trust of their peers and deserve to receive the funding. And it works better because in the end, you truly harness all the wisdom of a single community instead of relying in a single and centralized foundation or entity for them to do the marketing, for them to do the infrastructure, the code, etc. And this is what the EOS Network Foundation has done as well. So 1.5 years ago, the EOS Network, which was created by Block One 4 years ago, they did a $4 billion ICO in 2017 to build the code. But after that, they didn't improve the code that much. They didn't do enough marketing and basically didn't do enough for the community to thrive. And so the community decided to replace them. In a true Web3 sense of decentralization and autonomy for a community, the community itself decided that we didn't want them anymore. We wanted a new foundation to emerge from the community and represent ourselves. And so we did. And that, in my sense, is the power of Web3. Exactly.
Yeah, Charles, this is what it feels like. I mean, like, I can say that this is kind of revolution in a cryptocurrency project, because if you think, there was like initially a company that promised that they would be building some things, and then once they didn't do it, the community was like, oh, it's another scam project, let's just dump it. No, the community was like, guys, we can replace them, we can make it better, we can build something better, we can be armed ourselves, and we can fight for this project. And this is actually what I really like about the EOS network. And not so many people actually know about that $4 billion story. And often people just say that, hey, it's another project that's in the top 100, it's just going good, and so on. So I'm really glad that you mentioned that thing. And also, I have one question about that topic. Do you really believe that a democratic Web3 applications will be much more available in the future? Like, where do you personally, this is not a question to someone who's working at EOS Support, but this is a question to Charles.
Yeah.
So what do you think about it? Will we be seeing more democratic approaches, more democratic applications on the blockchain?
Well, I truly believe so. And to give a bit of background on myself, I joined the crypto space 2 years ago. And before that, I didn't pay much attention or wasn't that much interested in crypto in general. I just saw it as a new asset, as a new money, basically. But I didn't see any potential in it. I wasn't very interested in it. That changed when I discovered the book of Daniel Larimer, which is the person that worked on EOS and developed the software itself. That person went on to build EOS, and after that, he went on to find new ways to build consensus within a community. And so he published a book, which is called More Equal Animals, where he describes the process that now Eden uses on EOS to build the elections, etc., which is called fractal democracy. And it's a process through discussion that can replace the current voting systems that we have in our world. And that is what truly passioned me when I joined the space on EOS. That is the moment I saw the potential of the Web3 and the cryptocurrencies in general. That's the perfect place to experiment with new democratic processes that we can then implement into the real world. And this is what passioned me most when I discovered the EOS, because it was the first crypto discovered that implemented this fractal democracy in an application, Eden, on chain, and that uses it to distribute funding and build consensus in the community. And so for me, absolutely, new democratic processes are vital to our survival in the future. The world is going to go through many hardships in the future, through climate change and even more. And we need the power to have consensus among ourselves. We need the power to collaborate. If the humans can't collaborate, that's our biggest. We can't do that anymore. We're truly doomed. Being here at EOS Support is a joy for myself, because I can work on that as well. I can work to make sure that people all around the world, we work in 9 different languages. All our tutorials or our guides are translated in 9 different languages. Same for our live support. We are live agents in 9 different languages again, because our goal is not for one single community or people to country to benefit from this. We want this to be available to the whole world. EOS is open sourced. Its code is open source. All our tools are there to be enjoyed by everyone. The only thing that remains is for everyone to know about it, know that there are new ways to collaborate, new ways to build consensus within the community, and better ways to do it than what we've experienced in the past. I've been reluctant to vote in my current political system, France, where I reside. I've never been truly interested in politics because I never had any power. Here in the EOS community, through the elections, we have real discussions in the elections. We have such a fun time. It's a joy to experiment and to be a part of. And so I've never been happier than experimenting with new democracies here in the EOS network.
Yeah, I am personally glad to learn, your background as well as your views in terms of the digital democracy. I can say. I mean, when I first got involved with cryptocurrencies, I think the viewers who have been tuning in for the other Omchain Talks, previous Omchain Talks, already remember that story. I didn't have any way of receiving international payments because I was 16. I didn't have, how do I say, a bank account. I didn't even know, international overseas wire transfers work. So I was like trying to find an alternative myself, and then I met with Bitcoin, and I was like, wait, this solves my problem, right? And I was 100% sure there were many other people in my position, in my situation, who weren't able to receive payments, and I was like, wait, that changed everything. And then I fell in love with crypto. I started working on my project 2.5 years ago, maybe years ago, and then that's where we are right now. But on the other hand, if you actually think about it, it's kind of how do I say, sad. you know we have invented democracy thousands of years ago. There was democracy in antique Greece. There were democratic republics way before the time that we can't even remember or we can't even record, but we have the evidence that there was democracy. And for the last maybe 100 years, most of the countries in the world claim that they have democracy. So if you think about it, we are all equal, right? I am from Turkey. We have public here. We don't have any royal families, and I think that you're from France. If I'm mistaken, please just
That's
correct me.
correct.
Yeah, and you guys are famous with your revolutions. No pun intended. Please don't get me wrong. But like, yeah, it means that you guys like being democratic. But if you think about it, if you just randomly pick someone on the street right now and ask that whether they feel equal with any other member in the society or all the other members in the society, I'm 100%, or let's say I am 90% sure that they would answer no. Because even right now, as an individual sitting in front of my computer, having this on-chain talks with you, I don't feel equal with other people in society. I feel that they're more powerful than me. I feel that even though we have the same voting power in the country, there are more how do I say, influential people. And it's not because the system is wrong, or it's not because that it doesn't work, but it's because I think how we implement that system is wrong. So fundamentally, crypto now gives us a way to change this, because most of the changes often happen rapidly. Because if you look at the states, if you look at the companies, if you look at the governments, if you're not happy with something, you vote usually every 4 to 7 years, depending on the country that you're from. In Turkey, we have it every 5 years. So you have to wait for at least 5 years to have another vote and change some things. But whereas in crypto, changes are more frequent, they are more rapid, and if there is something wrong, that you can track and trace on the blockchain.
Exactly.
So in that sense, I think we are providing more. How do I say? Fair place. We are providing a more fair medium.
Hmm.
But on the other hand, as I said, I feel sad because the exact system right now that we're living was designed in that way as well. And if crypto is just making me feel more free and more democratic, I just feel a little sad about that. I just wanted to share that with all the listeners and with you as well. Sorry about that.
That's all right. And we are working on that as well. We are implementing new democratic systems on EOS through the Eden community that uses fractal democracy. And it can be applied also to the real world. And I'm working on that as well in France and with other people in other countries that have discovered this system through the EOS community and Eden. So we are not doomed. We just need to implement these systems that we are experimenting on in blockchain today into the real world. And that can be done. And indeed, the problems can be solved always if through the voting systems that we have, for example, on EOS, not only do we vote to find consensus, not only do we vote to find our representatives and elect people to govern ourselves, But we also like them to receive funding. So the more people that pass the elections in Eden community on EOS, the more funding they receive. And that's the important thing, giving the funding to people that can apply active and good change to a community. So as always, voting is good. Good voting and consensus mechanism are great to find our representatives, but the right thing also is to give them also the funding to build what they're meant to do. And that's what changes things, applying the funding where it's needed. And in this network, again, we take real pride in that we are funded by the community for the community. The community decides through Pomelo Seasons, which is the crowdfunding platform for public goods on EOS, each month what public goods deserve to receive the funding. And that way, truly, we can build a resilient ecosystem where people trust each other and build things together.
I mean, like when you said that, gathering about some funds and then spending where necessary is actually how the government should be working right now. But again, that's like, you know, we didn't have the technology. We didn't have the technology to detect fraud. Maybe we were relying on people. We were relying on private investigators. We were relying on audits. We were at the end we were still relying on people. But now that as you just said, the technology is advancing every day, and we're building more technological approaches. I am not saying new technologies or something like that, but like more better technological approaches. I think that we can bring transparency to the existing governance solutions as well. And it's really glad that we have those. How do I say? Demo versions, like kind of like mini versions of those governance models. The one that you were just saying, like on the EOS network, the Eden is being funded by the community, and then people, gather up together and discuss who should be receiving funding, and then based on that, the protocol is funding them, and then those new applications are being funded and being on the EOS network. It's more or less same in our case as well. But I really hope, and I am really looking forward for those implementations to be taking in the more, how do I say, in the local governments maybe initially, but more those new technologies being more integrated to our lives, aside from the cryptocurrencies and crypto projects as well.
So
Because
support is there
yeah.
for that as well. So EOS Support, we provide these public goods for the community, the live support, the guides, everything they need to onboard the EOS community. But we also provide services to companies and projects and anyone in the local communities or anywhere in the world. We also provide them with the tools to build their own DAO, to build their own consensus mechanism based on Eden and based on these types of new governance systems. So that's one thing that we do, and it's needed also because the companies and the communities that are being deployed today in the Web3 and on blockchains such as EOS need the tools to have the consensus and the funding distribution and all those things that we are experimenting with and are proven to work. So it's working for the EOS community now. We have developed and launched several DAOs as EOS support for having these consensus mechanism and funding distributions for companies. And so we are aiming to do that for as many people as possible and as many companies as possible, but also for the local communities and anyone, no matter where they are in the world, to benefit from it. So this is what we do also as EOS support.
I mean, it's really glad for me to hear and learn all those things, because you previously mentioned that you don't believe in one blockchain or one cryptocurrency wins all kind of thing does not exist. I also share the same view. We are at the end we're all humans. We are all individuals, and we all have a lot to learn from each other. So from our point of view, technologically, we also look at the space and we try to find what is the best option out there that we can implement for the public good. What is the best product there that we can implement our own infrastructure so that it benefits more and more people. And I that in the future, with that approach, both our protocol as well as EOS are going to be way more successful in the crypto ecosystem and the in our regular lives as well. So these are really interesting topics. They're really nice things that I have learned from you. I mean, I could go into more details, especially from the governance side, how the EOS protocol works or the actual definition of democracy, but I just sound too political here. I have respect to all political opinions. Some of the opinions belong to me personally. It does not represent what my project is standing for. So I am just going to be, not making too many comments on the topic anymore, especially about the democracy.
Yes, and so for everything you said about working together, indeed at EOS we have launched 3 weeks ago the Antelope IBC. which is an inter-blockchain communication that links all the Antelope chains together. So EOS runs on the Antelope core stack of the Antelope software. When EOS launched, the software was called EOS.io. It was created by the company Block One after the 4 billion ICO I mentioned. And that software was rebranded last summer to Antelope. And the reason for that is we created a coalition in different chains that were leveraging the software. So there are 4 networks that got together. There's Telos, there's UX Network, there's Vox, and there's EOS as well. So we got together, we formed a coalition, we started deploying capital into a common treasury to work on protocol level features that were inherent to all of us, and we wanted to see them upgraded. So, and one of the things that we saw value in was the capacity to link all the chains together, which led to the Antelope IBC, which was released 3 weeks ago. And so we called it Antelope IBC because it comes from the Antelope Coalition. The underlying software that EOS runs on, that works, runs on UX and Telos as well, is called Antelope. And just as EOS.io was before, Antelope is community-led now by the coalition, and it's still open sourced for everyone to use. Basically, the Antelope Coalition is a group of 4 separate chains that uses the EOS.io software. So all of them were running EOS.io and got together by the EOS Network Foundation and decided, hey, what if we put all our great minds together instead of working on the protocol level software all by ourselves in those spaces? What if we all got together? What if all those great minds in all those chains got together and worked on the same protocol software, which is Antelope now? And this is the way to go, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's actually something that I didn't know. Thanks a lot for letting me know about it. I am just checking their website. I mean, like checking the Antelope website. It's antelope.io. If anyone else right now wants to check it out or check it out, the space guys. It's really important that blockchains talk to each other. I also keep saying that in other spaces as well as in real life to other people when I'm having a conversation with them. Because if you think about it, even on the internet right now, we don't have like, hey, one database wins all. We have different applications, we have different websites, we have different databases, and then all those things communicate with each other. There are like ones that are owned by the governments, the ones that are owned by companies. There are like open source tools. There are ones that you can run on your computers, you can run on your own PC. So it's really important that blockchains talk to each other. Because as you just said, like, I am a single developer. I cannot, like, I can code only so much, but I cannot be developing everything myself. I have to at least collaborate with some other people. And if we're talking about decentralization and Web3, then it should be more easier for me to collaborate with other people on building something larger than I could be building myself alone. So that's why I also really like the IBC protocol. We currently have just a token bridge. We'll be launching an NFT bridge soon. We don't have but it's planned. It's on our roadmap towards the end of 2023, because at the end, the end user should have the flexibility, an option to transfer the data that they have on one specific blockchain to another chain of their choice. So I will be personally checking out how the Antelope works and see whether we could be integrated to that as Omchain or not. That's real nice. Thanks a lot for letting me know again.
Welcome.
All right, so I think more or less we have talked about everything. Are there any specific things that you want to mention, Charles? Anything that we have missed? Anything that you want to mention? Any little jokes that? Please don't be too political. I mean, I don't want to get arrested. Okay,
It's all right.
people.
There's a lot to discover about the EOS network. We have been running for 4 years now. 4 years, the chain has never been down a single second. Proven to everyone in the world that we are reliable, that businesses can build on EOS. We've been there again for 4 years uninterrupted. The community is now community-led. The code is led by a coalition of chains together to be even better day by day. We are building the EOS EVM, which is going to go out at the end of March, beginning of April. It's going to be the fastest EVM to date, 4 times faster than the ones from Solana so far.
Okay, I will be disagreeing here. Please challenge us to be the fastest EVM. I'm just kidding, but we like speed, we like being fast. I mean, like, you guys release it first, and then I'll see if it's faster than what we have, and then all I have to do is like, hey guys, can I please fork this project or GitHub repos?
Absolutely, it's already in the testnet, so you can already test the EOS EVM in the testnet.
All
It's
right.
been there for 4 months now. It's going to go through its final phase in 2 weeks now, the end of the month, launching live. And so it will benefit everyone. And it's a great pleasure to unveil that to the world, because Ethereum has had problems for scalability for years now. And it's the way to go for every Ethereum developer to be able to use the fast transactions and low fee transactions of EOS applications and their users. The facts for their users to be able to use applications on EOS seamlessly without just having to do 2 clicks with their MetaMask. Everything seamless for the end users, but for them to use the fast transactions and everything we have on EOS for them easily through EOS EVM is an amazing step towards enabling Ethereum developers to bring their chain and application onto EOS and use everything we have to for them.
That's really awesome. I just add the project on my GitHub watch list, and then yeah, that's good. I'll be checking out the source codes and see, like, if I can, how do I say, I can help in development. I will be seeing how we can, implement the EVM capabilities. I mean, like, we already have an EVM network, but I will just try to, compare the code bases and see, like, if we can, benefit from it, or if our code can benefit from that. If it's already open source, I think they would be open to, comments, so that I can also join the discussion as well. That's really nice. Thanks a lot for letting me know.
We're really an open community. It's a great pleasure to sharing everything that we do with the rest of the world. The Alchemy code, again, and the Antelope code base for EOS is open sourced, and it's used by all the Antelope coalition chains. We have free open source NFT platforms. We have free open source DeFi platforms that anyone can build upon to build their own DApps. And we also have many more frameworks on EOS to bring funding to the projects that seek to build on EOS. And the question on EOS is also, do your project have access to marketing? Do you have access to legal? Do you have support for your application? Do you have access to libraries? Do you have access to the mechanism to leverage the communities to build your project? All these things the EOS Network Foundation has thought about, and we have projects and initiatives in place to provide the funding and all of that to you and your project. So again, the EOS Network is massive. And if you have any question, that's why we're here, EOS Support. We are funded, again, by the community. We are a non-profit organization, and we have support on our website, eossupport.io. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You can ask any question you like about the EOS Network, and we are there to answer any day of the week. Again, in 9 different languages if you speak other thing, not English.
All right. I mean, like, I feel happy about it. I feel genuinely happy about it. It's the first time that someone, comes to this Omchain Talks, or like someone that I have probably met in real life as well, including all those people that I know. Oh my God, I know so many people. Jesus, I should clear my mind. Okay, anyway, back to topic. So, I have heard from anyone saying that, they will be there for supporting, projects who are looking for help from the actual blockchain network. Usually it's like, hey, just send an email to foundation, or it's like, hey, send a DM to that guy on Telegram, or like, hey, let's just make a group chat, and then a few days you have the conversation, and then the conversation dies, and so on. But I am really glad that you're trying to, or like you have already built something that is aiming to help anyone who is willing to do anything with the EOS network that is going to be benefiting the existing community or attracting community members.
Yes.
I am really glad today that I have learned a lot about EOS that I didn't know previously.
And again, as you said, as we said, it's a live human support. So you don't have to send an email or anything. There you go on our website, eossupport.io, just ask in the chat, and there you go. You have a human there to help you, to chat with you, and to guide you through all the steps you need to take to discover the thing you want to do on the network. So having someone human directly available to you was very important to us. That's the way to go with support. Someone that's there to guide you through all the steps, a safe place for you to go in. You can go there. You won't get scammed. On the contrary, do many scam preventions. As in any crypto network, there's a lot of scams everywhere. And it was, as EOS Support, one of their great objectives is making sure that your crypto is safe. We teach you how to secure your keys. We teach you the best measures for security, and also to seek out all the scams that are rampant in the network to make sure you don't get scammed, and everything you need to know to make sure you are enjoying the best you can this new Web3 of tomorrow.
So you mean that Elon Musk is not gonna give me $50 million if I give him my private keys via DM on Twitter?
I tried once. Well, that won't work. That won't work.
I mean, like, but you're actually right about it. I mean, like, we have a lot of experience in crypto, and we know that what's important, what's not important. I could be sharing my wallet address with anyone, no problem. They can see my transactions and how much worries from my side. But I know that I should be never sharing my private key, and this is a public notice, guys. Do not share your private key with anyone else other than, I don't know, you and yourself. So once it goes out, your could be stolen, and I am 99.9% sure that they will be stolen. But to the people who are opening their cryptocurrency wallets for the first time, that seed phrase or that private key does not seem something that is so important. Even though most of the wallet implementations mention that to not share it, secure it, somewhere safe, or like do not, note it down to some piece of paper that you might be losing in the future. But usually people do not understand, and a lot of hunters, a lot of people, especially on Twitter and Telegram, keep DMing people and saying like, "Hey, do this, and then I'll give you money." And usually, I mean, like often, not usually, but often people, fall for those scams, and they lose funds. So it's if you look at it from that perspective too, you having some real human being replying to message and helping people, and when people don't know where to go and what to do, and they can come and talk to you, it's really something amazing, and I believe that it's really helping the community of the EOS network.
And if you want to
All right.
discover more, you can always go to the EOS Discord. There's an amazing community there. And also at EOS Support, we do shows live on our YouTube channel as well. Every Thursday, 5 p.m. TC, we have an event with giveaways, NFTs. And it's a great place also to come every Thursday, so to our YouTube channel, EOS Support. And we have many also different Twitter accounts in 9 different languages where you can follow all the news about EOS and also all the scams, or new updates on all of them all the time on our Twitter accounts. And so, yeah, join us there. If you want to discover more, you can always reach out to us on our website, eosupport.io. You have all our guides and everything there, and live support as well. And you can also join our community events on our YouTube channel every Thursday, or just go to the EOS Discord and join our community there as well if you want to learn more.
Yeah, that's really great. Great. I mean, usually at the end, I was just like, "Hey guys, just follow their accounts. Hey guys, just visit their websites." But you have done all, I mean, yourself. So I am really glad, because it's also hard for me to keep everything in my mind always. So, Charles, I really had a great conversation. I hope that you also had a great time. I mean, I don't know how it's already been 47 minutes. I am just checking the clock. I really had a fun time, and I also hope that every other person who have tuned in also had really great time. So again, one more time, guys, if you haven't followed EOS Support, please just go to Twitter, and if you type EOS Support, then you will find the EOS Support Twitter account. It's basically like EOS Support IO. You can give them a follow, and if you're not following Omchain as well, you can do it right now by tapping the Chain profile. That is the host of that Omchain Talks. Again, for the sake of this Omchain Talks, we will be burning another 1 million OMC tokens right now. We have those frequent burns on every Omchain Talks. We burn around 1 million tokens. I personally, like, aside from this talk show, I personally thank you, Charles, for being here and opening my mind to new possibilities and new technological developments. Thanks a lot for here, man. Thanks a lot for being here, man. Really.
It was my immense pleasure as well. Thank you. I have a great time. And please, everyone, follow Omchain, and kudos to Osman, which was a great host. Thank you.
Yeah, that's great. Oh my god, yeah, that's sweet. I feel good. All right, thanks a lot, Charles. All right, guys, see you then on the other Chain Talks.
See you, everyone.
Bye. Yeah, take care.